Rain had fallen during the night, covering the ground with little droplets. When the sun rose, it dried them up and left the grass a shiny green. A little worm stuck his nose out of the earth and saw the new day. A shiny beetle found a nice shady spot under a dandelion. Katie and Orbie didn't see much of this because they were sound asleep. Asleep, that is, until there was a great roaring noise and a screech. The noise was so loud that it literally shook the windows of Katie's bedroom. Katie popped her head through the open window and saw a big truck, a very big truck. It was parked next door. They hurried down the stairs and threw open the front door. Dad followed them out and told Katie and Orbie that the new neighbors had arrived. Katie told Orbie that neighbors were people who lived on your street. Katie and Orbie ate their breakfast as quickly as possible. Then they just ran right out to the end of the driveway. The movers were unloading the furniture from the truck. They told Katie and Orbie to stand way back. Orbie wondered what the new people would be like. Would they like him? Katie wondered if there were any children in the family. The movers carried an old desk off the truck. It didn't look like Mom's, but Katie told Orbie that it was a desk just the same. Orbie wanted to look in all the drawers, but Katie said it would be rude to look through other people's things. Orbie smiled. He thought that might be the case. The desk certainly didn't tell them if a child lived in the family. Next came a bed. It was bright red and had 4 golden dragons on each of its corners. Katie decided that it was too big for a child. Orbie wondered if a new child would like him. Katie turned to Orbie with a big smile. She held his hand and said, "Orbie, anybody would like you. You are my best friend." Orbie shuffled his feet as he made a noise that sounded like, "But you already know me." Katie gave Orbie a hug. She told him that meeting new people was fun. Orbie made a little nervous noise, but he felt better by the time Katie said, "Look at that." Orbie looked and saw a beautiful doll dressed in a long dress. It was so precious that it was inside a glass case. But it wasn't a toy doll. Orbie wasn't sure at that very moment if he had ever seen anything as beautiful. They both wanted to get a better look, but they stayed where they were. A car drove up. They could see a mom and a dad, but that's all that got out of the car. The dad came and talked to the movers, then he went inside the house. The mom looked at Katie and Orbie and gave them a big smile. Another car drove into the driveway. Out of that car popped a little girl who could be Katie's age. Katie was so happy she clapped her hands together. Orbie jumped right up into the air and would have landed in the rose bush if Katie hadn't caught him. Katie helped Orbie up as she said, "Let's wave to her." Orbie agreed, and they raised their hands and waved. The little girl saw them and waved back. She ran right up to Katie and said, "Hi, my name is Yi Ping. What's yours?" Right away, Katie said, "I'm Katie, and this is my friend Orbie." Yi Ping looked at Orbie. I guess she'd never seen anyone like Orbie before. Katie took Orbie's hand. "He's my best friend," she said. Orbie made his sincerest, "You'd like me if you knew me" smile. Yi Ping looked at him for a moment, then she smiled too. "Hi, Orbie," she said. Orbie couldn't help it. His spots flashed brighter and brighter. Yi Ping giggled and told Katie that she thought Orbie might be a very special best friend. Just then the movers brought out a big wrapped package. They put it down on the grass and began to unwrap it. Katie looked at it. "What is that?" Yi Ping looked and said she wasn't sure. They all moved a bit closer to see. Suddenly, a glittery golden part of the package showed through, then bright red, then something that looked suspiciously like an enormous eyeball. When Yi Ping saw what it was, she threw her head back and laughed. "It's the dragon." Katie tried to figure out how you could wrap up a dragon, and Orbie just shot up in the air so high he caught a tree branch. Yi Ping went over to help Orbie down. She said, "Not a real dragon," she giggled. "A Chinese dragon." Katie crouched over near the dragon and watched the men as they took the paper off. "Chinese dragons are the most beautiful dragons I've ever seen," Katie said. The men lifted the dragon up and Katie gasped. Yi Ping said, "The dragon doesn't have a body." This worried Orbie too. but he was too busy pulling a twig out from between his toes. Yi-Ping told Katie and Orbie that the dragon head was a costume, and that she and her mother and her cousins were the body. Orbie scratched a polka dot. He made an I don't understand kind of noise. Katie just looked at Yi-Ping and couldn't think what to say. Yi-Ping told them that on special Chinese occasions, her dad would dance, moving the dragon head up and down, and the rest of the family would dance under the body part behind. They would hold sticks attached to the costume and move the dragon body around. Katie and Orbie just stared at her, not understanding. Yi-Ping looked from one to the other, and then she said, "Wait here." She ran over to the car and opened the back door, and she pulled out a great big garbage bag and ran back across the lawn with it. As she opened up the garbage bag, she told her new friends, "That dragon's head is for very special occasions, but my father made this one for me to play with." She pulled out a dragon's head with some cloth and 4 sticks attached to it. She gave Orbie and Katie 2 sticks each. "I need 2 friends to make it dance," Yi-Ping said, as she went to the head of the dragon and picked it up. She told Katie and Orbie to pick up the sticks and hold them over their heads. Then Yi-Ping did a strange thing. She kicked 1 foot out to the left, then 1 foot out to the right, to do what I'm doing. Orbie had a little trouble getting the foot right, but soon they were dancing around the yard. They looked like a dancing dragon. They were laughing and dancing so fast, and Orbie was really into waving his sticks up and down. Mom thought the dragon looked like it had a bad case of the hiccups. When they saw Mom, they danced over to her, and Katie said, "Look, Mom, I made a new friend." And Yi-Ping said, "I made new friends too." And I know Orbie would have said that he made new friends too, but at that very moment he crashed his sticks into Katie's sticks, and they both bumped into Yi-Ping, and the entire dancing dragon fell to the ground. Of course, it wasn't long before the dragon was up dancing again. And do you know, that dragon danced right up until lunchtime, when it had to stop and enjoy the wonderful barbecue Katie's family made for Yi-Ping's.
Did you know? No. Did you know? Did you know? All sorts of birds come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Big ones, small ones, fat ones, and tall ones. And they all lay different sized eggs.